Hello everyone, it's another fun, exciting episode of How to Farming Simulator 22 with the FUI Guy. Farming under the influence guy. Not recommended. Not recommended in real life. This is just a game. But, as the name says, and with tradition goes, yes, 9:03 in the morning on a December month. Perfect time for a delicious beverage. Now, for those of you that tuned into my baling and forge wagon episode, I have left the 3 bales here as tribute. Object's too heavy, can't pick it up. Darn. Today we are going to talk about a lot. It's going to be a jam-packed episode, so we'll try to get through it efficiently. But it's going to be hay and silage. Now, there's quite a bit of work that goes into this, and I would recommend silage as a very good option when you're starting out and you want money. It's a good way to make money. So, I have sold land, I have sold equipment, all for this video. I'm strapped for cash. But here we go. The pieces of equipment we will need. We have a tedder here. These tedders are for turning your grass into hay. Essentially what it does is it dries your grass at an exceptional game simulation rate and turns your grass to hay. So we'll need that. Next is a windrower, which, as you'll see, the tedder leaves your grass in your hay all over the place. So this windrower will put it up in a nice little row so that the baler and the forge wagon can come pick it up without having to drive a million passes to get through it. Balers. So, hay, you could use a normal baler, but if you wanted to turn silage into grass into silage, you need a via baler option. You need a baler that wraps the grass. This baler will turn in time. It'll ferment your grass into silage, very valuable silage. There's many options here. I've chosen this one. I'll kind of go through it when we actually use them here as to what other options you have, but yes. And finally, if your grass is going to be mowed, you need a mower. Well, hey, if you're a guy, where'd that tractor come from? As I said, I've moved financials around like crazy to make this episode work. So let's start with your grass. You have to plant it or seed it just as you would any other crop, and then you have to wait for it to grow, you have to fertilize it, you have to lime it, you have to do all these things. When your grass says it's ready to harvest, you can harvest it right away. No problem, cut it up, and whatever. I find if you wait one more month, you get quite a bit extra out of the crop. So I actually think it's worth just waiting that extra month, getting a little bit more seasoned crop, we'll call it. In certain daylights, you can see it looks more kind of a lighter green color as opposed to this darker green. Anyways, I tend to wait 1 month after it says ready to harvest and then harvest it. It'll still say ready to harvest. That's what I've done here. It was ready to harvest in November. I simmed ahead 1 more month to December. Now, mowers. There is a ton of mowing options, and there's also modifications where you can have a mower in a more traditional fashion as a swather. I like that one, it's cheap. I have chosen this particular mower because of one feature I will show you shortly. Now, with this mower it also needed more horsepower. That's why I had to update the tractor. As you'll see behind me too, this will be for silage. I'll talk about that later. Mowers, you have two pieces of equipment, so you have to select the front and back to get it to work. So I'm currently on the front, so you unfold it, the mower pulls down, you can lower it, and then you turn it on. Tractor spools up, blah blah blah. Same thing with the back, you triangle, you have to unfold your mower. Once it's lowered, you can lower it and turn it on. So you go back to the front, turn it on, and now you will start mowing grass. And as you can see, it leaves it nicely put all over the field here. I'm going to do 2 quick passes here, and then I'll show you why I selected this mower as opposed to some of the other options. Other mowers have it. This is not the only one, but it is a nice feature. It's a little tricky here. If you don't want to cut everybody's grass up, you kind of have to monkey around a little. So, back to our front. I'm all confused and lost. I never turned off the back mower, so anyways, whatever. We'll do another pass like this, and then I will show you the extra cool way to make mowing grass neater, especially if you're going the silage route. For grass route, it doesn't really matter, but for silage, it makes a big difference. Okay. Now, for the fancy stuff. We'll get ourselves all lined up here. And I will turn off the mower just so you can hear me. When you're using this mower, there is a thing, I guess I have to have it actually on for it to work. As you can see, there's a selected work mode on the top left there in your help menu. To change the work mode, where the heck is that button now? Oh, right there. If you hit R1 and you go L3 for toggle work mode, you can go swath dropping on the rear, so everything will pile into a row, making it way simpler to pick up with a baler or a forge wagon. Highly recommend doing that, especially, and you'll see it right here, way neater. So if you're going to use a tedder to turn this into hay, it doesn't matter. Your tedder is going to spread it around just like on the other left side there. But if you're picking this up, or you're baling it as grass, or you're using it as grass for sheep or anything like that, then I definitely recommend using this, because it'll just be a pain to deal with any other way, for being brutally honest with you. Okay, that's the gist of it. Essentially, now we just drive back and forth like any other piece of equipment. We mow the field into whatever design we want. So if you want it in nice rows, or if you want it spread all over and chaotic, that's up to you. But that's the gist of mowing. Now, I'm going to finish this up, and then I will meet you guys back here to explain some of the other ins and outs of how to make grass and silage. So I will see you in a few minutes. Alright everyone, I'm back. A couple things I kind of probably should have touched on. You cannot have a weight on the front of a tractor while using a mower like this. It requires the front hydraulics and everything, so you'd have to take it off. So as you see, I just left it right there on the pile. The other thing, I never touched on what mower this was. So if you go to your store and you go into the mower menu, there's all kinds of mowers here. Not all of them have that swath dropping mode, so keep an eye out for that. It doesn't really tell you, like if you click on it, it doesn't show. But this is the one I use, the Pottinger Novacat. I got these two. It does require about 230 horsepower to run them both. But with that swath dropping mode, it's definitely worth it. Okay, second step. If we were to be making hay, you would need to use a tedder before you could do anything else. So here it shows grass. This is all grass, grass, grass. So when it gets flipped over, it dries instantly. You don't have to wait. There's no time limit. It's not like real life. This is a simulation. Speaking of, this is why we can have a nice little sippy sip. Not recommended in real life, though. Anywho, we can use this tedder. It'll automatically flip that hay or grass, turning it to hay because it miraculously was so dry. This tedder, I went into the tedder menu. I didn't go up and get anything fancy. I got this one. It requires 100 horsepower. It's 17 meters wide, so it's lots. There are some super cheap options for super low horsepower, like 30 horsepower. So when you're really starting out, if you're doing a no man's land survival thing, you can make it work relatively cheap. Now, I'll get us into position here. You'll see why I said that you have to have or you may as well not put it into a swath row for a tedder because it's just going to make a mess. So if you unfold your tedder, it should be much larger than what we need. By the looks of it, it's going to be way larger than what we need. Yeah, this is quite the machine we got here. This might do it all in one gigantic pass. Okay. So you lower your tedder just like anything else. It does require it being turned on because there's the little, I don't know what you want to call them, windrows here kind of catch it, and they are hydraulically driven. So we would turn on tedder. As you can see, the grass is instantly flipped and it is much lighter. So I'll just stop here for a second. We can get out. See, it still says grass here. Then you go and you see the far lighter option. Guess what? Oh, well, it's not going to tell me. I guess this is the crop type. Anyways, sorry. Thought that it changed. The field's still grass, but the light colored grass that we've tedded is your hay. So when we pick it up, it'll say hay. Trust me. I know I messed up, but it just trusts me. So we'll finish this. I will also show you, as you can tell, you can imagine it already, but the reason I say there's no point having the swath drop with, like the swath drop nice rows with the tedder is it's going to make a mess of it. But I will go over one of the swath dropped type of rows just to show you exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to try not to get too much of it. As you can clearly see the difference between hay and grass, grass and hay. So we'll go over here and we'll drop it. You'll see it'll just manhandle this into a disaster, not neatly done. So you can only imagine how annoying it would be to drive over this back and forth with a baler or a forage wagon and have to pick up. It would take forever. So that is where the next step comes into play with the windrower. I'll just get this guy dealt with first. No. I'm just going to smash into our silage thing there. No problem. Don't matter. So tedders are essential for having hay. There are, as I've kind of, my yard's a disaster right now. You can tell I'm under the influence farming. There are modifications, silos that will enable you to turn grass into hay. So you don't have to do the tedder, turn it, and all that monkeying around. But this is a non-mod thing, so you can gladly look those up, or I'm sure if you just search your download content, you can find it. Moving along, this is the windrower I chose. So windrower, pretty simple. It's just going to open up. It's going to turn this loose mess of crop we have and put it into these nice swath rows that we can much easier pick things up with. So I'll show you this one in the store too. Windrowers, they have their own tab. Same thing. You can buy one for 20 horsepower that just works on the tiniest of tractors, all the way up to these monsters that are 15 meters wide. This one's only 9.7 meters wide. I went a little more modest. And yeah, we'll just quickly go up here. I'll show you how this works. Oh, sorry, baler. Sheesh, out of control. Same thing, you'll have to unfold it. It takes a little bit of work, but it'll unfold itself. And then you have to lower it, just as anything else. I'm not really going to have a ton of room here. This silage pit is in the way. And same as anything else, turn it on, and when you start moving, it'll just catch all this grass or hay and just turn it into a fancy windrow. The thing I do like with this style is it shoots it off to a side, so when we come to the next pass and head back down, it will combine it and make it one row. There are some where it'll take this giant swath and pour it into the middle, so you can't make two passes into one row. There'd be one pass equals one row. It's fine, it's not the end of the world, but it I kind of like this style. Same thing here, we'll just take this, drop it down, and voila, we'll try to put it right into a nice giant heaping row so that if we take it with a baler or with a forage wagon, less passes, because those things are the things that will take the most time to go back and forth with. So if you can have it in a nice neat row, especially if you're farming with a friend, if you got 2 or 3 of you that are working on this together, you can really make this an efficient process. Okay, so let's turn that off and lift it. I'm not going to do the whole shebang. That basically shows you everything you need to see. And we're just going to put this guy over here, I guess, since space is an issue. I don't care. You just detach. just doesn't want to listen. Okay, so if you watched my previous episode about baling and forage wagons, that would be where you would pick up with this. You could bale it and have hay bales. You could pick it up with a forage wagon and store it or sell it or give it to your animals or however you need. Or, you know, put it in a silo, whatever. But that would be the video to watch for the remaining of that. Obviously this you'd have to windrow and go on, but we're not going to do the entire thing. So today, for the second part of this video, after we take a little sip of our glorious beverage here. Ah, deliciousness. Our second part would be to, if we're making silage, you would have to, there's a ton of options, but today we're going to use a baling option with a wrapper. These balers, wrapping options will come both in the circular bales, round bales, or the big rectangle bales. I'll get into this here, I guess. Balers. So if you keep going, you can see on the bottom there it says 140 horsepower. It shows on this bale, or this one here, it just shows the size of the bale, 125 to 180. This one shows the size of the bale and a wrapped piece. That tells you that it wraps. It also shows in the top information underneath our money. It says a baler turns loose straw, grass, or hay into convenient bales. A bale wrapper packs grass bales in foil so they can ferment into silage. So we bought this one, the Fent. I thought it was nice because it comes in the 2 different sizes of bales. You can operate it fairly quickly. It does go into, there is one in here. Well, maybe you can't wrap the big ones. Okay, I'm wrong. I learned something new today. Without the modifications, you can't wrap a big bale. So we're going to use the baler to automatically wrap it. I will briefly show you some other options. There is this tow behind wrapper. So you would bale a bale as per normal, leave it in the field or whatever, and then you drive around with this. It would pick up the bale, wrap it, and drop it back in the field for you. It's a pretty decent way to go about it as well if you want to save a few bucks or if you're running low on horsepower. But if you can get a baler that bales and wraps at the same time, it's far more efficient, and I would recommend that. And this will do the big bales as well as the circular or round bales. The other option for round bales and for rectangle bales is the pack, like sausage style type. So you would actually pull this to, say, the side of the field, and you would bale your bales as per normal. And when you're ready, you would take your pallet, bale fork, and you put the bale in this machine, and it would wrap it into a long string that can go as long as you want. And eventually, when you're done, you tie it off, pull this machine away from the bales, and the bales will ferment. And then you unwrap your bales, and you can take them as silage bales with a bale loader to wherever you want. Again, it's a good option. It's kind of on the cheaper end again, but it requires you doing 2 or 3 steps as opposed to the baler that does it all for you. I will get into the other way to do silage in a second, but I'll show you this guy here. We'll produce a couple bales. This yard is a mess. There's equipment everywhere. So this baler, as with any other baler, will have the automatic, well, with most other balers, the automatic turn drop option. It'll have the bale size option. The silage wrap bales will not go to 180 centimeters. That's just the way it is. So we're going to go 150, and we'll take this guy for a little tour. We're going to turn on automatic drop. Turn on lower baler. I guess I didn't quite get it ready. Lower pickup, and we're off. So as you can see, it is showing that we have grass. So grass is this color green, your hay will be lighter, and your silage is like a black color. One thing, if you watch my baling and forage wagon video, I use straw. Your balers will take and hold far more straw per bale than they will silage. And that is, I'm all out of that. It'll hold far more straw than it would hold grass, because straw would be thinner, not as heavy, blah 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 blah. One advantage, as you can see with the automatic drop off and the way the system works, even though you have to stop for a split second for the bale to come out of the baler, but as soon as it's out, you can keep driving and you can start making the next bale while it wraps. I'll show you that here. So you back up, give this just a second to spit itself out. As soon as that baler closes, you can keep humming along. It'll wrap it, it'll drop it afterwards, all on its own due time, no problem. I'm just going to leave it all willy-nilly all over the place here. I'm only going to do about another row or two. I'll have to show you the forage wagon stuff. Yeah, there's really not much to it. It's pretty simple. Like I say, I definitely prefer... Oh, I'm out of control here. I definitely prefer using the forage wagon option. And if you use some modifications, then you can get silos that'll automatically turn. It's kind of cheating, but they'll get silos that'll automatically turn grass into silage. It's far less work. That's the main reason why I enjoy it, because this is tedious if you're working alone, no doubt about it. So I will quickly drop this bale, and then I'm just going to call that the end of baler option. Oh, I have to take a breath. So we'll let this wrap and drop it. So, nice thing, you don't have to buy any plastic wrap. The baler has unlimited amounts of it, so you just basically let it do its thing. I'm going to keep this yard as hectic as I possibly can. So I'm going to put this right here for now, because I can. Alright, I'm quickly going to pick these bales up, and then I will show you how you can tell when they're going to be silage. So I will time-lapse this and see you on the other side. Alright everyone, since this yard is continuing to be a mess, we're going to offload these right here. I like it when I look out my front door that I can see all the bales that need to be dealt with during this extremely busy winter. Definitely taking its time. Yes, I'd like to unload those right here. Now to keep things super hectic, that could be dangerous over there. There's lots of bales kind of just barely hanging around. So with these bales, whether they are baled and wrapped like this, or whether you put them into a tube wrapper, or you drive behind wrapper, when you walk up to them, it will show that it is grass and it is 0% fermenting. So when that hits 100%, then it is a silage bale, which is worth far more than a grass bale. So you have to wait. It usually takes a day or so to ferment, and then once that's done, I'll show you that, but we'll get to it after. But so that's how you can tell. And every bale will be different, so if you baled them at different times, you're going to have different allotments. Finally, the other option for creating silage with no modifications is your forage wagon. So I'm going to take this big old McCormick over here. This video definitely has the most information in it of all the videos I've made because there's so many options. So, you turn on your forage wagon, you lower your pickup, and you pick up your grass. Same as when you did it with hay or straw in my previous video, so I'm not going to make you watch it. I'll time lapse and I'll be back shortly. Okay, so I'm back. All done. Better take a sip. It's a hard work being a farmer in the Farming Simulator world. Okay, once you have your grass picked up, if you're going to turn it into silage without any modifications, you'll need this silage pit, which this farm came with. I sold it and I had to buy it again. Poor money management. It's simple. You would just unload here, and you're going to want to not sit in one spot because you'll create this giant pile because you have to pack this down. So it's nice if you can keep a nice even speed and kind of move forward to unload. So here we go. See if we can make this work. Don't be afraid to let it pile up a little bit because we do have quite a pit here. This pit will hold much more than what we're currently throwing at it, but let's get this guy out of the way. Disconnect, keep this place hectic. Now, in order to turn this to silage, it has to be wrapped just like the bales were. In order to do that, if you go over this here, you can see it shows that you have 24,000 in chaff, 0 compacting. So you have to compact it. I don't have any, there are compactors and stuff like that. I don't have any of that currently, so I'm just going to run over it a bunch of times with my tractor. As you can see, it's already 5% compacted, so we just kind of keep doing this until we hit that 100%. Yeah, so I'll do this, and I will come back when I'm done. Okay, so as you can see, it's no longer a narrow, tall pile. It has been smushed into much more compact. And you would be able to go over this and add and add and add until you felt you were full. Now, to make this ready to go, now you can see if you hit L3, it'll say blanket silo. So you, bloop, wow, now it says 0% fermenting. So same thing as the bales in their wrapped bales. You have, it just takes time. I will quickly show you because I didn't show you. There is silo compaction. It's a whole menu here, and there's all kinds of rollers that you attach to tractors and you just drive over. It helps speed up that process of what we just did. Yeah, so now I will sim this thing ahead of day, and I will show you guys the completed silage stuff. So yeah, be right back. Okay, I'm back. One thing that you would have missed is when you sleep an entire day like I did here, it'll show up in your top right corner, same with like your money leasing and all that stuff that comes out every day. It'll say bunker fermentation done or whatever. That means that that's done. I simmed up a little more because these bales weren't done. So now you can go up to them and you can see that they are a silage bale. They're done fermenting. So if you're ready to take them away somewhere and sell them, you would hit L3 to cut open the bale. As you can see, it does not look like grass anymore. It is now a fermented silage bale, and they are worth much more money. Congratulations. Now if we go over to our bunker silo, as you can see, it also says fermentation silage 100%. So we would hit L3, and this is the part I don't like about silos. I'm not even going to show you because I get angry. When you try and pick this up, you're going to have to pick it up with either a front end loader with like a bucket, or you can use your wagon, Ford's wagon, wherever I put that guy, right there. And you can just lower the pickup and automatically pick it up. Sometimes it might just be the PS5, I don't know, or if it's just a game in general. Sometimes it is very hard to grab everything out of this silo. That's why I've gravitated towards using bales or towards some modifications that make it happen automatically. Even though it's a little bit of a cheat, I just don't like dealing with this silo. Financially, the reason that you should do silage, if you look at the price of hay, it's 181. That's about the top end. Grass is currently at 154, which is about the top end as well. Silage, mind you, is on this map. I think I have the settings on easy, so normal. I normally work on normal, and that's quite a bit lower. But as you can see, it's a 567 per 1,000 liters. So it is far, even this low end is 459. It's far more profitable to put the time in and make it silage. Obviously, if you have animals and you need grass, you need hay, that's fine. But if you are trying to make money and you want a little side business in the silage, I would highly recommend it. That's all I have today. It was a little bit of a longer video. There was lots to jam in here. I'm going to clean up this yard. Until next time, signing off. FUI Guy. Yep, leave comments or anything if you like the video and so on and so forth. But yeah, have a good one, guys. Take care.